last week we talked about how deep the defensive back room is and how set they are for the future. One person we didn't mention, just that like they got a lot of guys. Garrett Reese, there's videos of him going around putting in work. He's going to be on campus, obviously, for the fall. He's another one of those guys in that Byron Baldwin, Hollywood Bell, Zachary Smith, Seonta Stewart class of defensive backs. These guys are all in the same class. Like,
yeah, and Garrett Reese is one of those names where he was toward the bottom of the list on the rankings,
which should tell you everything you need to know.
One of the more memorable tapes that I watched.
I was gonna say, I almost feel like the farther down the rankings they are, the more you should be watching those guys, because like obviously this staff knows more than the people ranking the players.
You watch Garrett Reese and you're like, oh, he just does everything correct. It's just about like getting him right physically. That's all that matters for Garrett Reese. Yeah. Excited for him to get on campus.
Yeah, he's a stud.
Not expecting anything definitely didn't this year. PK. Speaking of expecting, PK asks, what is expected impact of Chandler this year? We've talked about this a lot. I think with the Tyler Morris injury, he's going to be asked from his opportunities are going to be more plentiful than they would be if Tyler Morris didn't get hurt. They brought in Jonathan Brady, but I still see, Jonathan Brady was not the same level of Tyler Morris I thought was going to be in this offense in terms of number of snaps. So he's going to have a lot more opportunities, and there's going to be more asked of him. I think he was rated higher than Kendrick and Bond coming out of high school for a reason. He's probably more D1 ready than those other guys in terms of size. So I think in terms of a team that needs a slot, bringing in a 4-star slot track guy helps out tremendously, regardless of him being a true freshman or anything. So I'm not having crazy expectations for him. I think we're going to go very three-headed monster, EJ, Coop, and Surratt. But in terms of having slot guys in there, he's going to have a lot of opportunity. Him and Brady are probably going to be the top two guys for next year.
Yeah, I think
would be my expectation.
You hit on an important thing there that we don't have like astronomical expectations for him, right? It's not like, okay, he's going to come in and win Big Ten Player of the Year, but he can be a key contributor in this offense, play significant snaps in the slot and be effective. Maybe not early in the season, but you see by week 4, week 5 that freshmen really do have an impact on these Signetti teams. Given his status, given his speed, given his like ranking at the position, I think it's more than fair to say that he's going to come in and demand some playing time pretty early. But again, like I
bet he gets a first down in the Penn State game.
You look at Surratt, you look at Cooper, those are going to be 2 all Big Ten guys. You look at EJ Williams, he can also be an all Big Ten guy. It depends on volume for him and staying healthy. So it's like
Mekhi Jackson's going to come back at some point.
In Mekhi Jackson, it's like how many different mouths can you feed? So I don't know if I'd necessarily be like, okay, he's going to be all Big Ten, but yeah, I think he could be a highly impactful freshman used in key spots that works his way into more playing time. That's any of them.
He's our second most game-ready slot receiver that we have going into fall. So that whatever that role theoretically is on this team, that's his. Being the number 2 slot. Like whatever, like think Keyshawn Williams, but less tick. Keyshawn Williams-esque impact, maybe possibly less just because snap count.
No, I feel like that's a good,
yeah.
I think they're going to have a couple guys that kind of have that same, like between Key Williams and Cross, like production between those 2 guys.
Price and
No, I'm saying like, no, I know.
Oh, like Cross, how he was the backup.
Yeah.
Cross is like
he 2-3 targets a game, maybe. Certain games, maybe it was a little bit more. But there's gonna be a bunch of guys between like 2 to 3 and like 5 targets a game.
Yeah.
And then you're obviously gonna have volume for Surratt and Cooper.
Yeah. I think Chandler's gonna be something special. Body control on that kid.
Awesome. His
he can play outside. He can play outside with his athleticism. He just doesn't have
cold is the word. Cold is the word I kept coming back to for Davion Chandler from the Sigs Inside pod account last year. But this kind of leads us perfectly into shout out to Gabe, the graphics guy for Voice of College Football on socials. They put out their prediction for the Indiana starting offense. He reached out to me beforehand. We kind of collabed on that. On the original graphic, and I can't even blame him, he had 2 running backs. He had Kalen Black and he had Roman Hemby, and then obviously Cooper Surratt. 5 guys on the graphic, Mendoza quarterback, and then Surratt Cooper. I told him kind of the same thing me and you have been talking about for 2-3 weeks, that like we believe it's going to be 3-headed monster, and we believe EJ Williams is going to play prominently. So that's why you saw the graphic come out as Mendoza, Hemby, then the 3 receivers. But I think the exciting part,
Indiana football last year, they strictly run 11 personnel, like the entire time. 3 receivers, 1 running back, 1 tight end. Now, who are
they're all
going to
be used
varies, but like they really don't go out of that too often. So to have that on the graphic, I think is important. So it really comes down to if you put Holden Stays or EJ Williams on the graphic.
I think that's part of what makes this current iteration of the roster so interesting, is that I think you could argue that they're a lot stronger in like 12 personnel. And you have Nowakowski as the H-back / blocking tight end, and you have Stays, and you go a little bit bigger, and you're Cooper and Surratt on the outside, or you do something where you have the 2 running backs or like on the field at the same time. I think the formational versatility of this team compared to last year's team is a lot different. Now, is that going to make the offense better? I don't know. We'll see. I guess it's going to fall on Mendoza.
How good is Nowakowski? I don't know. We'll see.
Sig loves him. One spell guy.
Yeah, because I guess we upgraded Bamba with him, and we still have Bamba there. Bamba was kind of our second 12 personnel tight end that we'd bring in last year with Horton. And because Bamba can really block. For those that aren't familiar with James Bamba, have seen him maybe get a target or 2. He shouldn't be getting targets at all. He should be blocking only. He's really good at it. So it's going to come down to how good is Nowakowski. I think you nailed it on the head. Like, we can go with personnel where we have Stays and Bamba, Nowakowski's in the backfield as like a fullback. And then we just hand it off to Kalen Black right up the middle.
Hemby, Black, like whoever.
Hemby or Black,
DB, really. I really think we're going to see all 3 of them. And like, I know we clown Kansas, but like, I've been referencing the way they use running backs for like 2 or 3 weeks. Like, in that style of offense, I wouldn't be surprised to see Indiana take like hints and notes from that to utilize the personnel they have.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think. Yeah, honestly, that makes me think Corey Amatri is going to be a lot better than people think, because he was very smart and went to a very running back friendly program.
I didn't say he was going to be bad. I just said I wouldn't consider it.
I know you didn't. I'm saying this guy's going to be like all Big 12 one day, and we can clip this.
Well, the fact that Indiana was on him tells me he's going to be good. But I would just say losing out on his commitment isn't like, I wouldn't call that a loss, as opposed to like you look at what happened with Brody McWhorter, where like
with the portal these days, none of these like actually matter.
It's never over until it's over, and with eligibility and the way people can get waivers, like it's really like an 8-year game.
Yeah, it's not an 8-year game, but it's definitely a 5-year game. And yeah, I'm just glad we're building a ton of relationships with a lot of really good players. We'll see how they pan out.
I agree.
Obviously, we want them on campus as soon as possible, but
Speaking of football players on campus, Brad, actually, I guess these would be football players off of campus. Shout out to D'Angelo Pons. Shout out to Aiden Fisher and Elijah Surratt. D'Angelo Pons is going to have a football camp in South Florida. I believe that's end of June 28th potentially is the date. But go check out D'Angelo on Twitter. He's got a graphic that's been going out. Fisher and Surratt doing the same thing in the Virginia area. So shout out to the guys getting out there, giving back to their communities, and we love to see that. So go check out those guys on socials, and you can check out those schedules.
No, teaching the youth the sport really is like a beautiful thing. And it's really telling. Like, I only bring that up today because I was playing basketball today. I was doing my, runs on Sunday. Or no, today's Monday. So it was Memorial Day runs. And there's these high schoolers, they're like got to be like sophomores, juniors, like nowhere near seniors. But they're good players, but just like young and lean. So it was cool kind of like giving them pointers and telling them,
You're saying they couldn't play in the Big Ten right now?
Helping them learn basketball, like knowing when to cut. Like, hey, when you pass me the ball, cut to the basket right away, as opposed to waiting a second and then cutting to the basket. That way I can.
So you're saying that they aren't Big Ten ready? Is that what you're saying?
We're working on it, We're working on it. So hopefully Fisher, Surratt, and Pons could do a lot better job than I did and help these guys out in their their development. And obviously, what I'm thinking, Fisher sees a guy, he's like, he calls up Sig. Yo, Sig, I got us one of them ones. I found him one. He's gonna, and we're gonna get him. And that kid was Monshun sales, Showtime sales.
Going to the Elijah Surratt Virginia camp.
Yeah.
No, but shout out to the guys. We love to see that. And again, go check out the guys on social media for the information on the camps. I'll go to John in the chat real quick because that's going to lead into the next point I was going to make. He said, this is the most talented and deepest team SIG has ever had. I expect him to make a run in the CFP. We both agree.
Yeah, I think
funny enough though,
have it at like when we want to win in the tournament this year.
This is how I know John's always got me, because I was trying to figure out how to transition from Indiana to the CFP with an Indiana slant to go back into Indiana, but this is perfect. So if you go to last year, the college football committee voted, or I guess full blown stuff. The college football committee voted moving forward that there are no more auto bids or no more auto buys. So winning the conference championship no longer guarantees you a buy. They're just going to straight seeding, and they released
still an auto bid though.
Yeah, correct. So there are auto bids, no more auto buys. That's
important.
Very important. But they released what the seeding would have been with the straight seeding.
Which we already knew. We talked about it on Six Inside way back.
Yeah, we beat it into the ground. But Indiana would have hosted a playoff game last year. But obviously this is a welcome change. The only the only people mad about this is Boise State, and it doesn't even take an opportunity away from them. It just, if anything, it took away their opportunity to host a home game, which, like, I'm not sure what the money disparity would have been.
They wouldn't have been able to host a home game because if they're on the road.
Oh, would they have been? They were seated back.
Yeah, because
they would have been in Indiana.
If they're ranked high enough, like in the top 8, they're getting an auto buy. So then they're neutral field. So it doesn't even take away that opportunity for them. There's really no reason to really be upset because you got to win from that spot 3 games.
They just want to complain.
If you can't win the 8-9 game, like don't come at me that we're in a worse spot to win the whole thing. It takes a lot. It's 4 wins now to get to the Ohio State to win 4 games to win the national title game this year. And people, wanted to shit on them for calling it the greatest run of any college football team ever, when it's like, yeah, it is the greatest run because it's the first one that happened. So yeah, at this point in juncture, it is the greatest one to happen. So dude, just picture like Bloomington. It's cold. It's snowy. It's middle December. They got the Reds on. Then comes Ashton Genty. Oh man, that would have been such a good game. I think we would have won by about 10. I think it would have looked like, remember, Boise State gave Penn State a little, like, yeah, it wasn't that close, but it wasn't like they were walking all over them like you watch Bama do.
Listen, but week 2 of the college football season, we watched Genty go up against Oregon, and there's a reason he was the number 6 pick in the draft as a running back. Like, he's special. So like that would have been a problem. I think Indiana would have beat them. They're a better team, but like, I don't think that. Like Dow says in the chat here, Boise State versus IU would have been a good matchup. Like, I completely agree. Like, I think that would have been an electric matchup. And I think if you think about the first round through that lens of what those matchups could have been, you don't have 30-point blowouts in 2 of the 3 games. Like, you just have an actual first round that like looks competitive, and then the better teams move on. And so you have slightly more competitive, in theory, second round, and then the better team moves on, and then you have a more competitive third round. Like, that's how it should be. So
Yeah, I think Daryl nailed that score prediction, by the way. In our hypothetical, we love hypotheticals here. We love them. Love hypotheticals here. But yeah, in a hypothetical matchup, I think I would like my game prediction would probably be 38-27. I probably would have done 45-27 going into it just because I like to add a touchdown to my IU score.
Well, I mean, again, it would have been strength on strength because number one rush defense, number one rusher. Like Jeremiah Love was able to get loose for like one play, but that was really the only time all season we saw a running back gash Indiana. But yeah. Shout out to Fat Boy. Not a Sunday. Brad made the same mistake, but we're live on a Monday. Trying to accommodate all the Pacer fans. This is kind of what I wanted to build the episode around, though, Brad. This is kind of where I got the idea for the theme.
Well, I believe to wrap it up, we win that Boise State game. Guess where we're going?
Wasn't it Notre Dame?
No, we get Oregon. Wait. And guess what that Oregon?
And that would have been in the Rose Bowl.
Yeah, and that would have been in the Rose Bowl.
Oh my God.
We would have gone to the Rose Bowl, Keezer.
PK Hemby was good against IU, but if you go back and watch his run, who made the lead block on D'Angelo Pons? I don't know what you call that referee that stands back there, but like we got scholarship spots. We should actually look to sign that guy. I think that's arguably
Hemby was the running back that played best against us, which was funny that we kind of added him.
Well, yeah, they were like
besides Jeremiah Love, obviously, who was not available. So
no, actually, surprisingly enough, like he didn't hit the. I can't believe. I could imagine why he didn't hit the
top 5 pick isn't transferring schools. Why?
What?
You can get an NIL bag though.